Hi there. In this video, I want to talk to you about becoming a podcast host or a host on YouTube. Ultimately, you need to decide, is this for you? Do you want to do a podcast which is just you talking? Many people are very successful at that they have a theme and they do a different show daily, weekly, fortnightly, monthly about aspects of that particular theme. Others have guests. I like to have guests. It's a really interesting way of meeting people. I've had different podcasts that have had different themes. These days, I have a syndicated radio show, which is called Gina, Gardiner and Friends. And the themes and my guests are very varied and eclectic. However, the one premise, the one golden thread that comes throughout all of them is that it has to add value to the listener. And I'm very protective of that. So it doesn't matter whether it's business, leadership, health, relationships, whatever. But you have to decide what's right for you. Do you want to be on camera the whole time, or would you rather engage the experience and expertise of other people, in which case then use guests? You need to find a platform that works for you, and there are lots of them. All you need to do is go onto Google and look for becoming a podcast host. You can do it yourself, or you can do it in a managed way and have somebody else do it for you. And I have to be honest, I've always had other people do the technical bits for me. I love the interviewing. I like doing the actual face-to-face bit, but I don't want to do the technical things. Now, there's a cost associated with that. If you are going to get somebody else to manage your podcast for you and to do all of the broadcasting, then it's you that's going to have to decide who you're going to work with and how much money you're going to spend doing it. And there are a wide range out there. Simply Google it, interview people, talk to them, look at the numbers, look at how they operate, and listen to shows that they've managed. Ask them who they manage and go and do your due diligence, go and do your research. Recognize it takes about 6 months for a podcast to really get established. Some people have an overnight sensation. In my experience, overnight sensations take a long time to create. But being a podcaster is a really great way of getting your word out there. Now, word of warning. It can be that what you do is you provide a platform for everybody else's expertise and not for yours. So one of the things that I've done is to start up Gina, Gardiner and Friends Reversed, where I ask people to interview me. So the whole thing is back to front. It's usually guests that I've had on the show who I resonate with, and I've asked them to be the interviewer. Without exception, people have been very pleased to do that for me. And it's been a way of showing my expertise. It's 1 out of 8 shows. They choose the aspect, not me, but you could choose the aspect if you wanted to. Becoming a podcaster gives you that opportunity to show that you have media presence. The reach is greater than simply writing articles or being on LinkedIn or Facebook. And you can podcast live on Facebook if you want to. I would always urge you to use Zoom as well, because then you've got the recording which you can use. I tend to pre-record things now. I have done things live. I did 18 months on W4CY, and that was a TV and radio podcast. And that was live at 6 o'clock on a Thursday evening. And it was great. But after 18 months, I found that having to be in one place at the same time every week was rather restricting. And so I changed what I was doing. But if that works for you, then that's great. Of course, getting them out at the same time every week or every month is helpful, because then people know when to look for it. You do have to advertise them. Just having a podcast doesn't mean it's going to be found. So you will need to write articles, posts, and so on social media to get people to know, at least initially. Once you've created enough momentum, people will come and find you. I would urge you that you put your podcast, particularly if they're in video format, you put them on YouTube and you create a playlist of your podcast on YouTube. Using everything you do and using it in a multiplicity of ways makes sense, because the magic is in what you have to say, and you want to broadcast that as widely as possible to be seen and heard. So why wouldn't you use it in a whole range of different ways? Use YouTube. If you haven't got a YouTube channel, it doesn't cost you anything. I believe that YouTube is going to be the future. And so it makes sense to get a presence on there. To start with, use YouTube Shorts. They are videos of less than a minute. They have to be vertical if they're on your phone, and they can be about your life. I had been on YouTube for 2 or 3 years, and probably longer, and hadn't got many subscriptions, but I doubled my subscriptions by using a combination of YouTube Shorts, which were videos less than 60 seconds about my life. And I simply went to my phone and I looked for videos that I'd taken about my life that were less than 60 seconds. And I put them through my phone onto YouTube Shorts. Short YouTube videos are less than 5 minutes, and they could be about a particular aspect of something you do or something within your personal life. A how-to video or a go-to video, and then longer videos which are teaching or informing or motivating. They can be any length you like. Recognize that research has shown that people have a very short attention span. I wouldn't make them hugely long. You need to put a great title in, a catchy title. My earlier ones, I have to say, nah, not great titles. But ultimately, getting better at titles makes a lot of difference. When you create a video for YouTube, think about the description. How are you going to describe it in a few sentences? What is in that video? What are people going to get out of it? Use the hashtags, because those are what help YouTube allow people to find you. And make sure that you create a thumbnail sketch, if you like, about you and what you do and where people can find you, and make sure that that is in every video. I'm going to give you a template of what I use. It's not perfect. I'm always tweaking it, but I want you to create your descriptor for YouTube, because when you do, then you can just cut and paste. I've now got descriptors for a whole range of themes that I can put in for YouTube Shorts, because I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but I do want there to be something there. The more prepared you are, the easier it will be. And I do a get done days. So I'll do a whole morning or a whole afternoon where I'll upload videos, I'll put in the descriptions, and I'll schedule them. YouTube like regularity. So if you schedule them, even if it's once a week for the next month, the combination of podcasts and YouTube, I think, is a very powerful one. And that's why I'm putting these in the same video. And I use all of my podcasts. They get slightly edited and I put them on YouTube. Go and have a look. You'll see on my YouTube playlists, and it's Genuinely You with Gina Gardiner. I've got Genuine Conversations with Rachel. There are about 60 of those around a theme. They were a podcast that we did on a regular basis. You'll find Gina Gardiner and Friends, the interviews that I do on my radio show, all eventually end up on YouTube. Ultimately, it is about being prepared to step out of your comfort zone and give it a go. If you need any help, reach out. Cheerio now. I'll see you in the next video.